Hello, it's Anne Marie with AM Astrology, and I wanted to talk about another Pluto aspect, which, um, so I don't know if any of you all remember watching any of my videos that had Tina, um, who I took 2 years worth of, like I studied under her for 2 years, and met with her via Zoom. She's a phenomenal astrologer and has studied Vedic and evolutionary astrology and modern psychological astrology. And so really trust her and her judgment. We discussed, oh, and she's written 2 books. She's written a book on Jupiter and she's written a book on Saturn, and they are available on Amazon if you would like to check them out. But in one of our discussions, I remember her talking about, I was talking to her about the Uranus Chiron opposition and how that has that there was a period of time when it was exact, and there was another astrologer that had drawn some significant conclusions from what that represented in all of this, and went all the way back to and I'm bouncing on the table again. Went back pretty far in looking at other times where that had occurred, and she said, well, it's not, I don't know how much weight I would put on looking at charts or the placement of planets slash asteroids, whatever, prior to their discovery. I started thinking, well, Pluto wasn't discovered until 1930. And so we keep talking about, the US Pluto return, which I'm not discounting at all. Clearly, clearly it is a significant transit, but Pluto in Capricorn kind of would be accomplishing all of those things that it's doing anyway. So it seems to be doing these things worldwide, the tearing up of the top-down government, the traditional, the view of things that, where just that traditional earthy, we want to, the patriarchy, all of that seems to be being questioned throughout the world, not just in the United States. So I don't know that it has, yeah, I mean, yes, it still has to do, I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to discount the US Pluto return. But if you look at the chart for the discovery of Pluto, which I wanted to show you. So this is the chart for the discovery of Pluto that I had to Google and find online. Says 4 p.m. Mountain Standard, Flagstaff, Arizona, on February 18th, 1930. And that puts Pluto in the 12th house of hidden things. I thought that was kind of cool. In Cancer. So, so then the whole time that Pluto's been going through Capricorn has been in opposition to the discovery of Pluto. When Pluto, so I guess I should explain why you wouldn't look at it before they're discovered. So these outer planets have come into our consciousness. When they're discovered, they're coming into our consciousness. So the effects that they have on us, on society, is when they come into our consciousness. Like they're discovered when we need to know about them, when we are ready to be affected by them and recognize our evolution by their influence on us. Does that make sense? I hope. So if it wasn't discovered yet, it didn't have any impact, or at least it wasn't our consciousness wasn't aware of any impact that it would have had. And so, yes, we can, like I said, look at the planet going through a sign and seeing significations there. But when you're looking at a specific chart, can it actually, like a natal chart or like an event chart, can you really apply it to that and the effects of that event or that natal chart or the founding of the United States? Yes, probably. And again, Pluto going through Capricorn would be doing the exact same things whether the United States had their in their founding chart, in the Sibley chart, if Pluto was in Capricorn or not. I think Pluto going through Capricorn is still going to do the exact same things. But when we look at this discovery chart and we see Pluto at 17 degrees 45 minutes of Cancer, I was like, when was it that Pluto was at 17 degrees 45 minutes of Capricorn? Because that's an opposition and that's a key point. And so I was thinking, well, it's got to be around, would it have been 2020? And I was thinking it would have been around 20 degrees in 2020, and I'm like, because, and so I went back and I looked and no, it wasn't 2020, but guess when it was? So, oh, I guess I could do it from there. Well, let's just do it here. No, I guess I could do it from there. So, boom, there it is. Trump's inauguration. It wasn't at 1745, it was at 1736, which to me, the applying to the opposition is building the tension. And it's mutually applying because the Pluto in the discovery chart is in retrograde. And so 1736 is applying towards 1737, 1738, 1739. And the retrograde is 1745, 1744, 1743. So they're mutually applying to an opposition. So we're getting tension on both ends. Wow. And so that is when all of this nonsense started. Now, I've heard people say from different sides of the political spectrum that Trump was brought here to bring about change. So boy, has he. And I mean, that's not the only aspect in this chart. If you look at this, the moon is almost a lunar return, but the moon is like right in between the south node and the moon of the discovery chart. That's significant because the moon represents the people and the south node represents what draining the people or the fate that we have, the karma that we have that we're having to pay for. What else? The Mercury is right on Saturn. So like tradition, and in the sixth house too, it's like, illness, hard work. Saturn is already saying, limits to, and Mercury is like, what do we think about this? What do we think about these limits and boundaries and the traditional things? And because it's in Capricorn too, tradition. Don't you hear the fiddler on the roof in the background? The other significant thing here too, I see, is the sun has set. It's like the day's over. We are now in nighttime. The sun has set and it's at 0 degrees. Well, okay, because it's always at 0 degrees Aquarius on inauguration day because January 20th. But when we put it against the chart, because normally, like if you just looked at the inauguration chart, it would be up here at the top of the chart because it's, the middle of the day, noon. But when we put it with the discovery chart, it's just set. So there's that signification as well. Here's Uranus up at the very top of the chart in Aries saying, yeah, this is not going to be an easy ride. This is get ready for just all hell to break loose, chaos, explosions, just the things that you just could never expect. Here they are. We're going to deal with it. What else? We've got Venus, the Venus-Neptune opposition in the discovery chart, and that's where the nodal axis is now, or on the inauguration. So that seems significant too. In the second and eighth houses, which is the financial axis, what our resources are and what the others' resources are. So the Neptune Venus is like, are we deluded about our resources? And now and then isn't it interesting that both Venus and Neptune are in the eighth house in this inauguration chart. So that's significant too. But this nodal axis is kind of saying, yeah, it's all coming due. We're having to look at it all now. So again, remembering that the point of this discovery chart is Pluto coming into our consciousness, the things that Pluto represents coming into our consciousness. And then on Trump's inauguration day is the day, or is the time, because it's like I said, it's not exact, but it is to the degree about the opposition and saying it's time to make a decision. And now we're going to look at all the things that Pluto represents. Pluto in Cancer would represent, our families. What's important? What is a family? What is our heritage? Where do we come from? The homeland. All of these things are Pluto in Cancer things. And so Pluto's discovery is like an awareness of those things. And then here we have this opposition is like, are those things important to you or not? How are they important to you? Is it important to build walls to prevent anyone from coming into your homeland? Is it important to you to open up your arms and welcome in the things that you said in your Constitution, that you bring us the tired and the weary, and I'm not going to be quoting because the camera's on and I can't ever remember the words when I got the camera on. But you know what I mean. These are all the things that Pluto opposition is saying. And then with that Mercury conjunct the Saturn, and then the Venus and Neptune, and the Uranus right at the top of the chart, and the moon lunar return on the node, on the south node, which for the inauguration also pulls in the ascendant of, for the inauguration chart. So anyway, that was just something that I pulled up and thought was very interesting, because we keep talking about the Pluto return for the United States and how well, it's already gone over the Pluto return, it's going into Aquarius, it will step back into the 29th degree of Capricorn in later this year in September until November, till election time, and then it'll move back out into Aquarius. So those themes are definitely Pluto in Capricorn themes. And yes, the United States chart has Pluto at 27 degrees of Capricorn. But this opposition, when we as a people, and we didn't, who helped us, but anyway, Trump was inaugurated January 20th of 2017, when Pluto was opposite the point where it was discovered. Something to think about. Would love to hear what you think, and I will see you next time. Please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It would help so much to make my channel grow. It's been stagnant for a long time, my fault, but I would love to see more of you liking and subscribing and watching my videos. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.